Hi, hello, and welcome to Finnish Guy Likes Movies. My name is Ville, and today we're gonna have a spoiler-riddled talk about Captain America Civil War. Now, I've already done my spoiler-free review of the movie, so if you wanna check that out, click on the card, I'm gonna leave it up there. And let's get to it, but be warned, spoilers are coming. Spoilers! Okay, so I'm not gonna do an actual blow-by-blow of the entire movie, but I am gonna talk about a few scenes that really resonated with me. One of the things that this movie does brilliantly is the tension building, which it does throughout the movie, and it starts from the first scene. The first scene is just a quick scene of Winter Soldier doing some very Winter Soldier-y things, but that's gonna play out really well later in the movie. But after that comes the real start of the movie. The movie starts off with a heist where Frank Grillo's Brock Rumblow, try spelling that while you're a Finnish guy, has gone full crossbones and is trying to steal some chemical weapons. But fear not, because Captain America and his team are there to save the day. Now, this scene has a couple of things that I really liked. First off, it sets off the tone for the action, which is again, like Winter Soldier, very physical, very kinetic, forceful, kicking, punching, explosions, all that kind of good stuff. I really enjoyed the scene, it's very well done. But also there are a couple of key notes in that scene, is that we see a couple of quick glimpses of them actually trying to save civilians. Just a couple of quick notes, but still it was fun to see. And also that pays off in the end, where Scarlet Witch makes a mistake and she actually kills like 20 civilians, and you can see the devastation in her face immediately. And that's part of the tension building, which is happening all throughout the movie. It sets off the central conflict in this movie. After that, we see Tony Stark dealing with some stuff. His relationship with Pepper Potts is on the fritz, and we see him riddled with guilt about his past mistakes. And this all leads to the next scene, which is the table scene, which you may have seen in some of the trailers and clips. And it's basically every one of the Avengers sitting around a table while now Secretary of State Ross, past General Ross from the original Hulk movie, is explaining to them that basically all the nations of the world want them under control and want them under the umbrella of the United Nations. The really great thing about this scene is that there's not a baddie in this scene. There aren't the good guys, there aren't the bad guys. You actually understand almost every single viewpoint that the characters bring up. It's an actual debate with actual issues on both sides of the coin, and it's done perfectly, and it's again part of the tension building. Heck, even General Ross, Minister Ross, Secretary of State, whatever, Ross, the guy, is also maybe softened up a bit. Not an actual baddie in this scene, I think. After that, we get our first few cameos from Haley Atwell's Peggy Carter, albeit in the sense that she's dead now, she has passed away, and Captain America goes to her funeral, where we learn that Agent 13 from the Winter Soldier was actually her niece. And that was a nice surprise for me, because this was one of the things that the trailers didn't spoil for me. I was like, good stuff, I didn't see this one coming. And again, that scene served a perfect purpose, because you can see that scene tugging on the old school morals of Captain America, tugging on those strings and making him fall on the other side of the issue to Tony Stark's Iron Man. And you can see that the rift is starting to happen more and more. Now, I want to talk about the action in this movie, which I really didn't touch upon in my first review because I didn't want to spoil anything about this, because the action is so good in this movie. We get a really good chase sequence in Vienna where we're introduced to the Black Panther who goes after the Winter Soldier, and it's a brilliant action sequence because it's not just action, it's action with emotion. You can feel Black Panther's anguish about the fact that he believes Winter Soldier killed his father, the king, and he's going at Winter Soldier, full blast. And also it's a very good action sequence, lots of cool car stuff and stunts and things like that. I really enjoyed it. But let's talk about the holy shitballs moment of this movie, which is the airport scene you've seen in all the clips and all the trailers. But even though I saw all of those, don't go into this movie thinking you've seen all that scene is gonna bring you. You have not seen anything. Actually, I saw online that somebody had actually timed the scene and it was like more than 15 minutes long, and you never feel it during the scene because it's it's the best comic book movie action sequence there has ever been, and it's right up there amongst the most perfect action scenes ever. First off, this is the scene where we actually get to see Spider-Man in action, and we do get to see him in action, and it's brilliant. He's funny, he's quippy, he's being Spider-Man to the fullest, and it's brilliant. And one of the best surprises for me in this sequence was that we get to see Ant-Man going full-blown Giant Man. And you know, I'm a Finnish guy. I saw this in a theater with Finnish people, and we're very stoic. We don't show our emotions, we don't yell out loud, but even in my theater, people were going like, woo! When that stuff happened. And Giant Man. But the sequence isn't great just in the sense that we get to see all these characters going at it. It has great character moments, character building moments. We see some funny stuff, we see some tragic stuff, we see some, again, tension starting to happen, and most of all, it's not a small skirmish. They go at it, they go at each other. One of the reasons I think this scene really works is that CGI is toned down during all of the rest of the movie, and this is basically the only scene that you have loads of CGI. Okay, I know there's loads of CGI in all the other scenes, but this is the only one where it's kind of obvious because you have so many flying characters and trucks and planes going around and giant men. But it doesn't feel like a CGI fest, and probably just because of that, because the rest of the movie tones it down and it takes it easy, it feels real, and that's kind of what makes this outlandish scene feel real also, because it's the only one of those scenes in the movie. Like in Age of Ultron, we see those robot guys flying all the time, and yeah, I don't know. And one of the genius moves that the Russo brothers did was that they did not put this at the end of the movie, and it works brilliantly there. The structure of the movie really benefits from this, because you kind of like, okay, you want to see them going at it, here it is, let's get back to the real heart of the story, the real conflict, and it works. Speaking of the end, it's a nice surprise when the villain's plan kinda makes sense in these movies. Well, if you get really nitpicky, it really doesn't. It's overcomplicated, but at least you understand the villain's motives. And it worked for me. Hey, it's a comic book movie. What do you want? And they do a really good bait and switch in the end of the movie, where we're shown that the villain, the Zemo, is not actually going at these super winter soldiers and wants to set them free. That's not actually what he's doing. He just wants Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Iron Man in the same place, where he reveals that Winter Soldier actually killed Tony Stark's parents. And boy, does that set Iron Man off. And here we get the payoff of all that tension that's been building, because you really understand why Tony snaps at this point. You really do feel it. Also, the ending gives a good resolution to Black Panther's arc, in that while the whole movie Black Panther's being consumed by revenge, and then Black Panther's there like going, okay, this Zemo guy is also consumed by revenge, and he's crazy, and Tony Stark is now being consumed by revenge and he's going crazy. I don't want to follow those two. I'm gonna go my own way. And yeah, it's a good resolution to that character's arc. Just an FYI, there are two end credit scenes. One is a mid-credit scene where we see Winter Soldier talking with Captain America how he wants to go back to sleep until someone finds out how to get all the Hydra encoding out of his brain. And then there's an after credit scene where we see Peter Parker back in Queens fiddling with his new high-tech Spider-Man suit that he's gotten from Iron Man, and it's a good little tease of what we might see in a future Spider-Man movie. So there you have it, those are my spoiler thoughts of Captain America Civil War. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons if you want to see more from me. Leave a comment, I'd really like to know how you felt about the movie, what were your thoughts on these scenes. Leave a comment and I'll see you next time. Bye!